Dr. Jen Cooksey serves as the Director of Assessment in the Office of Institutional Planning and Effectiveness at SMU. In her role, she oversees academic program and support unit assessments, the Common Curriculum, and the First Destination Survey. And I've worked with her a lot on the redoing of the Common Curriculum, which before was university curriculum. So she has played a huge role in that. And we're very excited to have her here to talk about practical steps to align your courses with the SMU Common Curriculum. So we welcome you. Thank you.
I have some handouts. Yeah. Welcome back. Yeah, I know, like after lunch, I want to go home and take a nap. Yeah. And before we dive into aligning course with the SMU Common Curriculum, a quick story. Over the break, my daughter, who just turned 11, said, "Mom, do you have to go back to work and talk about rubrics again?" And I replied, "Yes, because rubrics are life." Well, she wasn't convinced, but I hope by the end of today, you will be. So let's get started. By the end of the session, you will feel comfortable navigating SMU Common Curriculum rubrics and the assessment processes. We will also cover how to design signature assessments that align with the tag requirements and use scaffolding to enhance learning. In other words, you will leave with practical steps to align your course while also keeping your students engaged. So what is a common curriculum? Can I ask who are teaching common curriculum courses? Or, okay, we have quite a few. Good, yeah. So think about common curriculum as the backbone of a well-rounded SMU education. It's our framework for general education, crafted by faculty and overseen by the Council on General Education. It includes 3 broad areas with 18 components or tags that shape the student learning experience. So these tags reflect the key proficiency and experiences essential for student success. So those 3 areas are foundation, breadth, and proficiency and experiences. So why we align the course with the CC tags? Because it's a win-win. It supports our institutional goals, enhances student learning outcomes, and contributes to their success for academic and career. When your courses align with the CC, we create a unified and meaningful learning journey for our students. So you will have more clarity about how your course contribute to the broader SMU mission. So here are the 18 CC components or tags. These range from foundational knowledge to proficiencies and experiences. So I'm not going to go over that. So navigating CC assessment process. The assessment process ensures that we are meeting our learning goals. It is systematic, ongoing, and directly tied to the CC rubrics. So don't worry, I will show you how to navigate that like a pro. So we have CC assessment cycle. Remember I showed you there are 18 components and tags, right? It's just very unrealistic for us to assess 18 of them every single year. It's just too much work. So we break down to 3-year cycle. So first year, we collect the data and artifacts for students for the components that we're going to assess at the institutional level. And the second year, we, based on the assessment results, identify the areas for improvement and also identify the strategies for actions, right, of improvement, learning and teaching. And then the year 3, we're going to use those plans to implement in your classroom teaching and improve student learning. Hopefully, after the 3 years, by year 4, when we recollect those students' artifacts and reassess those learning components, we will see the improvement. we did have very good successful stories because this is our year 5 to conduct the jury assessment. And I'm gonna talk about that later. And this is the snapshot of our assessment cycle and calendar. It is designed to provide structure for both faculty and students. Knowing the timelines will help you plan ahead and ensure everything runs smoothly. The cycle ensures that the outcomes are not just aspirational, but measurable, and most importantly, impactful for students. And if you look at the last row, 2024 to 2025, this is where we are right now. And we are collecting the components that listed in columns 3 at the last row, CA, CIE, CE, HC, LAI, and PREI. And remember, this is our 5th year conducting this assessment at the institutional level. So those components, they were assessed 3 years ago. And it will be interesting to see how, the results look like. And this is just the extended assessment calendar because we built the calendar till 2030. Yeah, before we know it, we're there. Okay. Rubrics are your best friend when aligning your course. So they define the learning outcomes for each tag, breaking them down into performance level and supporting skills. So don't just skim. You really need to dig into the language. And the SMU CC rubrics, you can find each rubric in detail through the website. So the link, if you go into the presentation, you can, you'll be directed to the web page. So use the resources as you design your course and assessment. So the rubric look like this. So I just pull one of the example PREI, but they're in the same format, 18 of them. So you're gonna always see the student learning outcome and then the value statement, why we want to assess this student learning, and then supporting skills that we are assessing. In other institutions, you may see the criterion, right? But here we call supporting skills. And also the course content criteria, glossary, and the actual rubric contains those performance level and supporting skills. A lot of the time you're gonna see too, well, not maybe every time, all the rubric now have this. I highlighted number 6, that's give you some guidance that assessment must be built in this course, because your course is tagged with this particular learning outcomes, you want to assess your student learning. And there are some practical tips for using CC rubrics. So I put a double rubrics. Yeah, must be sleeping. And so you need to get yourself familiarized with the rubric first, because a lot of time when I work with faculty who teach the CC courses, not everybody is aware there is a CC rubric available. So, which is sad. So I want to really get my message out. You have to know if you're teaching the course that tagged with CC, you have to go to the rubric, right? Because otherwise, how your course will be approved? Well, they're gonna argue because I already taught this. I've been teaching this for 10 years. I don't need to get approved. However, we remind them you also need to refresh yourself, right? Because we modify the rubric periodically too, based on the assessment results. So you need to really familiarize yourself with the rubric. And then once you know that, you're gonna look at your course, try to identify the areas, how you can align your assignment to this tag, right? Design the assignment that in align with this rubric that prompt students to demonstrate learning skills, supporting skills that addressed in the rubric. And then try to remember you need to communicate with students with this rubric, because oftentimes I heard a faculty member, well, I teach too, okay? So I don't mean that being offensive. So I know I don't always follow this theory myself. So I told faculty that you also need to communicate with your students about your rubric. You're welcome to use this CC rubric because those rubrics are developed collectively by our faculty and approved by Council of General Education. So you're welcome to use that, put in your class. However, some faculty said, oh, I want to have my own teaching freedom, right? I have my own authority. I do not want to use this rubric entirely. That's fine too. So you can incorporate this rubric into your own grading rubric. That's perfectly fine, because you may want to, when you grade your student work, you have other criteria that are not covered in this rubric, because this rubric only assess this particular learning outcomes, right? So that's fine too, but be sure to communicate with students so students know what you're expected, and then they can tend to perform better. Now talk about signature assessment. So signature assessment are the key to measuring CC outcomes. They're not just any assignments. They are designed to align directly with the rubrics. So from essays to presentations, these assignments are where the magic happens. So a lot of time when we communicate with faculty about the students' assessment results, they said, oh my goodness, how come my students perform this low? Because I know they can do really well. Well, now look at your assessment. Okay, the assessment not even ask students to perform what we're assessing. So that's why. So really don't blame students. It's really our fault, right? As a faculty, we didn't really prompt students to demonstrate those learning skills. So we really need to think about a signature assessment, try to really design in line with the rubric. So this is what you're assessing, this is what you are asking. So they have to be matched. And so how we can design a signature assessment? So pretty simple or straightforward. So you need to identify your tag. And this is another issue oftentimes I communicate with faculty. This year, we're going to collect the assessment artifacts from your course. So please turn in this. And then faculty said, oh, I never know. I have a tag to my course. Oh, that is so sad. So I said, look, this is the link, from Office of General Education, shows you the approval CC courses. You can look up whether your course tagged with one tag, multiple tags, right? And you're responsible for that. Well, anyway, so that's the story. It happened, not made up by me. So each semester I will run into some faculty members like that. So you need to really know what tags that tagged to your course, and then go to the rubric. So and compare and line up, and then you can develop your assessment for for this particular tag. A lot of time, if you're teaching the course the first time and you only have one assignment that you're using for assessment, you perhaps want to also pilot and then collect some feedback from your peers or from our office, from Office of General Education, and then you can refine your assessment, make it really robust and solid, and then you can implement. So that is the process. A good, effective signature assessment, number one, you need to have the alignments, right? And then clear expectations, so communicate with your students. And then reflection and application, that means you have to provide your students opportunity to learn, develop those learning skills, and then you assess. So those are good characters for the signature assessment. And this is just one example, a good assessment prompt for PREI. And if you remember, probably hard to remember because I showed PREI example and they have 3 supporting skills, okay? And then this prompt, you can see that I highlighted, identify, analyze, evaluate. Those language really, if you look at the rubric, they are, consistent with their rubric language. And then they use those, plug into their prompt and make the prompt in align with the rubric. Of course, you can add additional instructions, what you want the students writing look like, quotation, citation, stuff like that. But this is very important. Okay, since we just finished lunch, right? Everybody should have energy to do some exercise. And you have your handout, and the handout one is the rubric. Is HD, human diversity, and one page is the assignments. Krista is not here, but yesterday I just found out that she's one of the speakers today. And so Peter, Bruce, and Krista, they did the presentation earlier. When I listened to their presentation, I said, my goodness, I probably don't need to do anything because they already covered the content. And I had no idea she was presenting, so I talked to her, hey, I'm using your assignments as the exercise. Start off bad, okay? She said, okay, go ahead and do it. So great minds think alike, I think. So I'm using her assignments, and you're gonna see the refined assignment after. So look at your assignment and your rubric. Maybe get a group of 5, 3 or 5, or whenever you feel comfortable. So talk about whether you think the assignment is designed aligned with the rubric. If not, how can you refine it to better align with the rubric? So there are a lot of course content criteria, glossary, there are a lot of information in your rubric, but mainly focus on the supporting skill. And then the second page, detailed rubric. So you have 10 minutes. Or you don't have 10 minutes. You have probably 6 minutes. Or 5. Constantine told me I don't have much time. Okay, so talk about that. You don't have to be a subject matter like expert. Okay. So group activity, time up. And we can pick maybe a couple, not everybody, to share your thoughts about this assignment, whether it's designed well aligned with the rubric or not. Yeah, let's go from the back. Okay, and why?
Explain it. Fantastic. It is so on the nose in how it says exactly the language of the supporting skill in the question. There is no denying that this.
Okay.
I will say, if I have to add a caveat, that all of the exemplary boxes ask for like high levels of nuance and deep understanding. And if each answer is only one paragraph, I question how much we'll get into the deep understanding and theoretical nuance.
Okay,
That's all.
good. Anybody else? Other group? Let's go over there. Sorry, I'm calling your name. Not like a name, but yeah, since no volunteer. Yeah, I'm not shy.
We also thought it was good for the same reasons.
Okay, good. Let's hear that. Since we're so brave, right? So we can, go around to that group.
My throat is bad, sorry. Maybe instead of address the following, have something more descriptive like analyze and describe for the 2 questions. And thanks to Professor.
Anybody? Other front row.
So my only point of concern is about the second supporting skill, explain how social and cultural systems develop. This is only really prompted at and part of in answering this question paragraph for question 1 with where did those expectations come from, question mark. So if I had any like concerns about how well this prompt is going to work out, those concerns are about the second supporting skill and whether enough is going to get dedicated to answering that component of the question.
Anybody else, or that's it? Right on the spot. Yeah, oh, there's, like, please.
Oh, so they felt that supporting skill number 2 wasn't addressed. I weirdly liked the ambiguity of supporting skill number 2 because it felt like I wasn't just feeding the student what I wanted them to say, but it was addressing it more like on the side and making them start to think, oh, where did these things come from? Well, that's addressing the number 2, but maybe making the students do a little bit more of the legwork than me saying, hey, please check this box for me.
Okay. But good thoughts, okay? And I think, well, let me tell you the decision of Council of General Education, because when you propose a course with the CC tag, or you want to propose a course that you're teaching, but you want to add additional tag, you will go through, fill the proposal forms, and then the Council on General Education will review that and then make the decision. And for this course being approved to add the tag human diversity. However, the council's decision is pending meeting assessment office, because they want to see more clearly how each supporting skills is addressed in your assessment, exactly like the last 2 groups that you mentioned. And so the supporting skill number 2 seems not that explicit, which is the concern of the council. So I talked to Krista, and we work a couple rounds back and forth, and then this is her refined assignment, which you can find in her handout on the folder of the presentation. So which I didn't know, okay? So I found out today. So I don't need to explain. And her assignment now really well aligned, and the language is very clear for each supporting skills, okay? And then again, you don't have to say supporting skills in the prompt, but this is how she landed up. I hope you can see the difference, okay? Anyway, this is the exercise if you are doing your own course. I will be quick. And we talk about AI a lot today, so I wouldn't say how impactful these AI tools, but I encourage us, including myself, that don't be afraid of using the AI tools. Don't be feel like apologetic using the AI tools. So using that because it's a game changer, and use them to brainstorm the assignments, generate samples, refine your prompts, or even create rubrics. They're very good doing that. I use ChatGPT every day in my life. And so think about, they're not just replacing you, they are actually helping you, make you work smarter, not harder, right? So, and ChatGPT, you can actually create your own GPT, because if you don't want to use the, information coming from the website, the open resources, you actually can explore the ChatGPT option, explore ChatGPT and create your own. When you create your own, you can load the documents or the resources to that project, and then ask ChatGPT the questions. At that point, they're gonna only use the resources that you provided, rather than the open resources that grab from the internet. So if you're worried about the data privacy, those can be a good additional approach, because like I said, I use that a lot. I even use that to analyze my interviews. I have the case study that I'm conducting, so I have the transcript, and then I use that. And also I verified with my participants. They actually did a pretty good job. But again, so it's there, it's a tool. Scaffolding, I'm not gonna say it too much, because apparently a lot of presenters already illiterate this. And Krista also talked about how scaffolding that she did, rather than the conventional scaffolding, then break down the big project into small pieces. So I'm not gonna go over that. And speaking of AI tools, this slide is generated by AI, made with JAMA. So JAMA is a tool to help you create a very not interactive, but create some innovative slides and then pictures, everything. You can tell the JAMA, I want a professor working at the computer to do this. This is the picture that generated. I showed my daughter, she said, oh, mom, it look like you. I said, oh, no, it's much prettier than me. But anyway, you can do that. Those are tools. Okay, questions? We have the chair of Council of General Education, Peter, right there. Do you have a question for him? Anything?
I'd like to add that. Sorry, thank you, Jan. This is very helpful. Yeah, the closer that an assessment aligns with the supporting skills, the quicker it'll get through the approval process. And I just wanted to add that proposers just need one assessment that demonstrates the skills. It doesn't need to be the final paper or the final assessment. It can be something halfway through the semester as long as it's demonstrating all the skills. One assessment demonstrating all of the skills, that's it. Whatever other assessments you do, that's your prerogative. We just need that one. So sometimes there's a misunderstanding about that.
Oh, just a quick add on to Peter's comment. Be sure to pick the assignments that really after the midterm, okay, toward the end, because we see professor turn in their assessment assignment. That is September. It's a fall class, fall semester, September. You haven't really taught your students yet. So you need to pick a assignment toward the end or the final page.
Thank you. It's a really helpful presentation. Since we have both of you in the room, could you recap the relationship across tags? Like, how many tags can a single course have? Are there conflicts of interest in some of those tags? So a course can, like, can you create my question and also answer it? Yeah.
You're asking me to dig very deep, but I can tell you that. So there's the foundations, the 4 foundations. A class can only have 1 foundations tag. There are the breadth tags that can only have 1 breadth tag. And then there's the graduation requirements, the proficiencies and experiences. Those are the same things, just different language for it. It can have up to 4 of those. So it can have a breadth and 4 proficiencies, for example. But it can't have more than 1 breadth. And there are a few little requirements. If you look in detail at the rubrics, if you have CE and CIE, there's service hours numbers that are different if you want both of those versus one of those. But as Jan said, just look at the rubrics in detail. It's all laid out right there. Does that answer the question? Did I chat GPT well enough? Okay.
So 2 things. One is, do you have to attend like a training or workshop in order to propose a tag for a course?
Okay, the first question is, do you have to attend a training or workshop to propose a course? No. It would help, probably, and the Office of General Education offers these regularly. There's also resources online. We've revised the proposal forms such that I think they're more explicit and tells you exactly what to put in each box. And if you submit one that's incomplete, it'll be sent back to you. So submit sooner rather than later. That would be very helpful so that if there's any issues along the way, it can get back to you. But to answer your question, no.
Note that in the box folder of proposal examples, all the files are empty. And I know that's not your job, Peter.
The question is, why are the sample proposals that are in the box folder are empty? We are working on it. That's the easy answer. We're well aware that sample proposals are very helpful. And I personally have been in touch with proposers, and I will send them some samples, but it's tricky because you got to have a sample that's, in that right rubric. Also be aware, anybody who's in creative arts, there's CAC, so creativity and aesthetics creation, where you make or do art, and then there's creativity and aesthetics analysis, where you analyze art, and those are different proposals with slightly different skills. So keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Oh, one last question.
Complaining about this. So I'm in the midst of being like my ES Tech classes going through assessment. So we're going through a kind of a logistical thing. And so in the spirit of talking about how to make a signature assessment, and by the way, I'm very pro this. I want to make sure our goals are aligned and that we have continuity across it. So I'm here. Just we run into this logistical problem where I have like 260 students and we're meeting some challenges with like the expectations of the format of the assignments where it's like, oh, we want a PDF for each student and their SMU ID and the file name, and then go in and redact all the information. And that just becomes like very time consuming. So if are there any guidelines on like logistically, so not only making my assignment clear and aligned, but not a full work week of time, just getting the files in the right box folder for y'all too.
Yeah, and that is my question, because Peter doesn't handle those difficult questions, right? Well, we can schedule the like meetings offline because this is there's a big part of the project collecting the assessment that I have not covered today because I can maybe spend 30 minutes just talk about how we collect because this is a ginormous project. We collect 4,000 or more each year, student artifacts, our office, and I'm the one who will do the sampling. You know, this is actually my background. So I will do the statistical sampling and then distribute it to the jury assessment committee. So we have a jury assessment that each summer we recruit faculty. You are welcome to sign up too, because if this year we're assessing your component, we were recruiting the faculty who serve as readers. And in fact, I see a lot of familiar faces. They've been with us last few years and it's paid, okay? It's about 10 to 12 days work. You will go through a whole day training to calibrate norming process and understand how to use the rubric and apply the rubric consistently. And then we're gonna give you the assigned, the sample student work, and then you will score. And we have paired readers to score each student work. Yeah. Anyway, that's another process. Welcome to reach out to me after the meeting. Okay. Yeah. Thank you all.
Because if you expect that every single instructor knows all of these, that's not going to happen. But if one person knows, and that person is in charge of coordinating with the department while
Yeah.
and know the rules.
Yeah. Note taking. Okay. Thank you.